Good morning, all of you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Good
Very good
afternoon,
morning.
sir.
Good
Am I
afternoon,
audible to
sir.
you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why such low voice? Why? Come on, get some excitement going. Very good morning, all of you. Good morning, all of you. Oh my God.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Good
Very good
afternoon,
morning.
sir.
Okay,
Good afternoon, sir.
I think there is some overlapping of why is such low voice? Why? Come on, get some
सर
excitement
आई
going.
थिंक आपके बैकग्राउंड में यूट्यूब भी चल रहा है तो उसकी वजह से ना हो
Very good morning, all of you. Yeah, wait. Let me just. Oh my God.
Good morning, sir.
It's live streaming and okay, I think there is some overlapping of why is that low voice? Why? Okay.
सर आई थिंक आपके बैकग्राउंड में यूट्यूब भी चल रहा है तो उसकी वजह से ना हो
Let me kill something. Wait. Let me just. Live streaming and okay, some overlapping of okay.
आई थिंक आपके बैकग्राउंड में यूट्यूब चल रहा है तो उसकी वजह से ना हो
Let me kill something. Yeah, is it fine now? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir, it is fine.
Yes, sir.
Now it is fine, I suppose. Okay. Chalo. Just let me get the file. 1 second. Actually, there's some some technical issues that we are working on. All right, so let us start today's session. And what I would like to tell you people is that what we'll discuss today will help you understand the world better. And let me tell you, there are very limited number of, if you if you want to understand the, okay. Let me just tell you one thing. My primary objective is to ensure that when you are, going for a B school, interaction with a B school people, you should not come across as someone who is not capable of understanding the world today. And one thing that I have found is that most of the people who are going for B school, most of young graduates, they do not have this habit of reading a business newspaper. they do not have a habit of reading a newspaper. Forget about business newspaper. And I mean, it is not that they are not reading news. They are into news. In fact, they are being bombarded with news from all corners. I mean, through YouTube, through Instagram, through shorts, through reels, through channels, through, I mean, the moment they open something, there is news. But what is happening is that they are not, realizing that it is it is the news giver who is selecting what to give you, rather than you deciding what you need. Okay. So, and many a times, as you have come across, your generation comes across this, that many a times you are bombarded with, half truths, fake news, and even I mean, because online, you don't have any accountability. Today you post a tweet, and tomorrow you delete it. Okay, it's gone. But if you publish it in a newspaper, so you can see, if you go to the website of a good newspaper, you will find that you can trace an article back to 100 years, right? You can search an article with a keyword. I mean, if it was published 100 years back, if you go to a reputed newspaper, most likely it is there. So what that does is, like, it is something like when you speak something, when you make a speech, when I'm talking to you now, and it is being recorded, then I will be extra careful to ensure that what I'm speaking, if it is verified, it comes out to be true, right? But if I know that I'm speaking from one identity today and which you cannot trace tomorrow, and you may not know who is speaking, then I can speak anything and get away with it for this point of time, right? So the advantage of reading a reputed newspaper is that the newspaper, it is called mainstream media, and they are responsible, they are accountable for what they are publishing. Okay. And that accountability translates into your accountability. For example, if I'm quoting that is why, I mean, you see that many people call it WhatsApp university, Facebook university, they ridicule it, the knowledge if you're sharing. But many people, I mean, and so that impacts your credibility. But if I'm quoting that I'm quoting New York Times published on this and this date, right? If I'm giving a reference of, something being published in Times of India on particular date, or the Economic Times on particular date, then you know that my credibility, I mean, it is based on the credibility of the medium which I'm quoting. For example, if I quote that I got it from WhatsApp, how much you can trust it? So my trustability, my credibility, my accountability is a function of what I'm quoting. Okay, so that is one reason why I always ask people to read proper newspaper. It will save your time also. Because when you take up a newspaper, this is the finite newspaper. It has limited number of pages. These are things that I'll read and I'll be done with it. I mean, I don't need any other news source today. So my time for accessing news is over. Now I don't have to spend my time in seeking news. I'll spend it tomorrow now. The newspaper will do it for me. They have full-fledged $1 million system to do it for me. I don't have to fish for news. Otherwise, what happens? You just sit in front of a laptop or a phone, you keep on searching Google, one link to another, to another, to another, then it goes to YouTube, then it goes to shorts, then it goes to reels. And suddenly you realize that you have been watching so many things, right? So what I mean, why I want you to read newspaper, and that also traditional newspapers, is because I want you to spend finite time on that endeavor. Okay. So if you are reading one newspaper, you know this is done for today. Now, tomorrow I'll again take up a newspaper, and whatever has happened, important happened, this will come in the newspaper. But the problem is that, okay, a normal newspaper you can read, you don't have a problem with the normal newspaper. But when it comes to the business newspaper, there is a mental block. Most of the people have this mental block of, thinking that a business newspaper is something that I do not understand in the beginning. Okay. And that is where you stop doing it. And many, I mean, as you can figure out from all the people who are going for interview this year, now when you will be going for next year, I mean, at Mindworks, there are people who are going for IM interviews and all interviews. And one thing that many serious candidates have been, talked about is whether you read a newspaper or not. I mean, some people have bluntly been asked that, okay, you are going to, become a business leader, business management professional, and you don't read a business newspaper. I mean, they have been asked this. I mean, again, I'm not this. I quote everything that has been, that has been documented. I can show you the WhatsApp chat. They have been asked. Okay. So, editorial page in the newspaper is the central page. It is, okay, I'll show you. I'll show you a newspaper and I'll show you which is the editorial page. Okay. Editorial page is generally, you'll find the page in which there are 2 or 3, passages in the side, like this. And then there is a central big article, and then there is a article in the this bottom. So that page is having, that is called the editorial page. Okay. Okay. So let us start today's session. I mean, my objective is to make you understand the world of business, the world of economy, so that you are comfortable with, because you enjoy reading something which you can understand, right? Which you can make sense of. And if you can't make sense of something, you cannot pursue it for a long time. You need additional knowledge. Okay. I call it knowledge, interest, reading loop. Okay. What happens? You do not have knowledge. So that does not elicit interest. I mean, you don't read something because you are not interested in something. Mind my words. You don't read something because you're not interested in it. You are not interested in it because you don't have knowledge of it. Okay. So what I do is I induce an ignition knowledge, and that will create an interest. And that will translate into reading. And the moment you start reading, it will start adding on your knowledge. And more knowledge will lead to more interest, and that will convert into more reading. And more reading will again, upgrade your knowledge, and you'll start knowing more, and you'll start, reading more. You'll start exploring more. Fortunately, today you have a lot of resources to explore more. Okay. For example, in one of my sessions, I talked about how Kasparov was beaten by a computer, Deep Blue. So those of you who were inquisitive could have, searched what was Deep Blue, what was IBM doing, how did Kasparov lose that match. You have resources, you can do it. Like what was the name of the other program that was doing it. So you can do it. So I want to put you into knowledge, interest, reading loop. Now let me tell you, when I am discussing the theories of economics, I'm not teaching you economics as a subject. Let me tell you, I'm imparting my understanding of these theories. I have studied these theories. I have read these theories. I have understood it. I've not been an economics student as a BSc economics or BA economics. By qualification, I am a mechanical engineer. So I have read it for the interest of it, to understand the affairs of world. So and I have applied my logical thinking in making it simpler and understanding the deeper part of it. So I will explain these theories so that you can understand the events better. Okay, for example, look at this statement. Burgeoning current account deficit is putting adverse pressure on the exchange rate, which could be a blessing in disguise for our exporters in short term, but the long-term consequences will be disaster. Now, this looks very complex theory for somebody who's not a student of economics. Okay. Anyway, so let me tell you once again that when we talk about economic world, when we talk about the economic issues, the logic of economic analysis is very simple. Very simple. It is the complexity of economics comes into the measurement part, not the logic part. Economics is beautiful because its logic is beautiful, human. Its logic is, I'd say the logic of economics has been same since human existence. Since the human started thinking, the logic of economics was inbuilt. We were economic beings. We were the economic beings. Only humans could, apply the theories of economics. They did not know that this is the theory. You don't know this is the theory. You don't know the law of demand. But it's natural for you that if you have less money in your pocket, you will be inclined to buy less commodity of something. And if I put more money in your pocket, you might want to buy more. If the price of, say, a pizza goes up, I mean, if there is no discount today, you see, when you are ordering pizza from Domino's, what do you see? You see whether there is some offer or not. You decide, I mean, okay, today there is no offer, so we'll order only one pizza. Or I may not order pizza today, we'll eat pizza tomorrow. Right? You don't know which law is governing this. It is inbuilt, natural. A sense of protection from some, say, unknown danger of not having money. It is instinctive. Economics is instinctive in us. That is why Robbins says economics studies human behavior. Okay? And human behavior is age old. I mean, since we became human, our behavior was established. So that is the beauty of economics. So when I explain the theories of economics, I'll explain 4 or 5 theories. Let me tell you. Let me list all the. I'll explain law of demand, law of supply. Let me tell you. And if you think that these are very common laws and why do we need a special class on this, then let me explain to you that most of the economic issues can be, traced down to law of demand and supply. Okay, most of them will be reduced to law of demand and supply. Okay. So I'll talk about law of demand, law of supply, then I'll mix them. I'll talk about equilibrium, concept of equilibrium when law of demand and supply are combined. I'll talk about law of diminishing marginal utility because that is the fundamental concept behind your taxation. I'll talk about the concept of interest rate, exchange rate, inflation. I'll talk about the concept of GDP, inflation, interest rate, exchange rate, and how they impact our overall understanding, right? A very simple understanding of relationship between GDP, interest rate, exchange rate, inflation. We will tell you a lot about it, and I'll explain it in a simple manner so that you can apply critical thinking, logical thinking, understanding, and you can, make a sense of it. So let us start with a very simple concept of law of demand. Now, can somebody tell me what is law of demand before I start? Anybody? What is law of demand? You can use your mic and talk to me. You can use your mic and talk to me if you have anybody who's interested.
Hello, sir. Can I try?
Yeah, you're audible. Tell me.
Yeah, so when all the other factors affecting demand remains unchanged or constant, at the time of price increase, demand decreases, and at the time of price decrease, demand increases.
Anybody else? Anybody else would like to say? Speak? No? Okay. So let me explain it since actually, how many of you have studied economics in your graduation as a subject, as a primary subject, as a secondary subject, as something? No? Anybody who has studied? How many of you have studied? Can you just raise your hands and let me know? Okay. So Priya, Pranjal, inverse relations between price and quantity demanded. Okay. Shita in 12th grade. Okay. All right. So, okay. Anybody else? Not after 10th. All right. Chaliye, theek hai. No problem. So actually, let me clarify that people say that it is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay. So it means, what does it mean, Pranjal? Can you use your microphone and explain this to us?
Sir, it means that there is not means there is not any direct relationship between price and quantity demanded.
नहीं वो तो ठीक है but what does it mean having inverse relationship between price and quantity demand? Anybody else? What does it mean to have a yeah Vrinda?
When the price increases and the quantity you demand it decreases, and when the quantity demand is decreased, the price decreases.
Ah, please repeat. Please repeat.
When the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases.
एक second. Hold on. Price
Increases, then the quantity demanded decreases.
Okay. Quantity demanded decreases. Okay. All right. Then,
When quantity increases, the price decreases. I'm not sure if the second point is right or
okay, you're
not.
not sure about the second point. No, let us
Yeah.
not use it. I'll not use that then.
That
Okay.
is, if the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. For example,
Okay.
we take a chocolate.
Just hold on,
So,
hold on. One at a
yeah,
time. Price decreases. Quantity demanded.
increases.
Okay, very good. Okay. Now people say it is inverse relationship. So can I use vice versa here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now always use critical thinking in my class because I ultimate objective is also to improve your reading comprehension and critical thinking. So when I use vice versa, what does it mean? It means that if price increases, quantity demanded decreases. Now, does it imply that if quantity demanded decreases, then price increases? Huh?
Yes, sir. Both ways.
Both ways?
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा critical thinking भी लगाइए. Economics is not a subject. It
No,
is
sir. I disagree.
human behavior. Economics is human behavior. So if quantity demanded decreases, price will increase.
No, sir.
Sir, it will depend on the product.
No, sir.
तो वाइस वर्सा को तो पहले खत्म कर देते हैं. Let us kill vice versa.
So I
Have
would say,
patience. I mean, think.
sir, the price is the independent thing, and the demand is dependent in this relationship.
Okay. Since this is an online session, so I cannot look into your eyes and I cannot, think of, explaining something which will brighten your eyes. But let me explain this. You will understand what I mean. See, this part is correct. This part is fine. This is fine. Okay. And this is also fine. This is actually also law of demand. Okay. But many people do not, I mean, they read it, they write it in the exam, they pass the exam, but they do not really understand the intricacy of law of demand. And they just, they make a note of it, like price increases, quantity demanded decreases, quantity demanded, okay, vice versa, price. And it is law of demand gives an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. If the price goes up, quantity demanded comes down. If the price goes down, quantity demanded comes up. And the moment I ask them that what is this inverse relationship, does it imply that if quantity demanded goes down, price will go up? Now, first they say yes, and then they start thinking, this is so counterintuitive. This is so counterintuitive. This is not in line with human behavior. Because quantity demanded will decrease, then price will increase. This is something which we start thinking. Am I right? But it is very normal, human instinct. It is human behavior. There is no exception to this, that if price increases, you will start demanding something less. How much price will increase, how much you will start demanding less, that is a measurement part. That is another part. But logically, if the price of something start going up, it goes up, the quantity of that commodity you will start demanding less. You will start purchasing less of it. Now, take the example of tomatoes now. It is selling at 10-12 rupees per kg in a small town. I don't know in Delhi how much it is selling at, but today, these days, it is 12 rupees, 14 rupees. Big basket, you check. So everybody is consuming tomatoes. I mean, people are eating tomatoes like, at least I am eating tomatoes like I'll never eat more. I am telling everybody in the family that please eat as much as you can, so that for the entire year, you don't ask for tomatoes later when it becomes 60 rupees or 100 rupees per kg. Right? So it is 5 rupees, 10 rupees now. Okay. Same thing with peas, mutter, peas, green peas. Okay. It is 10 rupees per kg. And you just buy and eat as much as you can now, so that when it becomes 100 rupees per kg, you start looking at it and experiencing, I have tasted this. I know what it tastes like. Okay. And you enjoy the, taste of tomatoes, like in the past you have consumed so much that you don't feel like eating, So this is logical part. But is it logical that if quantity demanded decreases, the price will go up? This does not sound logical, right? And it is also against human behavior. So let me explain a very important point about law of demand, which many economic students also don't understand. For that, I have to explain a concept of relationship. एक term, बहुत important term. Now, this is what I will be like contributing to you. This is where you will start having differential knowledge compared with many economic student at your level. Let me explain a concept of relationship. Okay. What is a relationship? Let us say there is a relationship between me and you. I'm your teacher and you are my student. Okay. There can be a relationship like I know you, you know me. There can be a relationship between you and me, like I'm your friend, you are my friend. Okay. These are some examples of relationship. Now, in this universe, between, let us say, two variables, any two variables, there can be many types of relationship. Many types of relationship. Okay. Many types of relationship. Mind it, many types of relationship. Okay. Now, let me give you an example. There is a relationship, let us say, call it one. And I'll give a relationship between two things only, two things, two entities. I'm not using the term variable here because many of you will start thinking that sir, फिर आप maths में आ गए. Okay, but I'm calling it two entities, two things, which we are calling X and Y, let us say. Okay, between X and Y, let us say. Okay. Now you'll observe, I don't make it. I'm not making relationship. We have observed that there are different kinds of relationship. Okay. There is one relationship in which if the value of X changes, then because of that, the value of Y changes. Okay. If the value of X changes, then because of that, the value of Y changes. Okay. Example. 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 Your father's disposable income increases. Matlab, the income that he can spend, okay, increases. Then your pocket money increases. This is natural. Matlab, unless you have an enmity with your father and you keep fighting with your father, then that is another issue. But keeping all other things same, if your father's income increases, your pocket money will increase. Okay? Right? Now, if it decreases, then under normal circumstances, your pocket money will also decrease. Okay? Now, my question is, this is one-sided relationship. There is a relationship between your income, your pocket money, and your father's disposable income. So your pocket money, can I say, the value of your pocket money depends upon the value of your father's disposable income? Can I say that?
Yes, sir.
Can I say that? एकदम ध्यान से समझना, कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशन नहीं, कोई कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बात नहीं कर रहे. I'm not speaking anything complicated. Your value of your pocket money depends upon the value of your father's income. इसमें कोई doubt?
No, sir.
You don't have any doubt in this? Now, somehow, does your father's income depend upon your pocket money? Think about it.
No,
Does your father's income depend upon your pocket money?
No, sir.
Directly? Tell me, getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Got it? So your pocket money change does not impact your father's income. But father's income, your pocket money is directly dependent on your father's income. Because your pocket money can change because of many things. Right? By your, suppose, you have looted somebody. You are an engineering student and you are testing how to commit crime in future and you loot somebody. In the night, you have to give an iPhone to your girlfriend. So you go to the highway and you loot somebody. That is where we teachers have an advantage. I mean, suddenly in the dead of night, somebody, puts a pistol at the back and says, "Hey, give the wallet, give the card, give the money, give the watch." And then he sees that he does not have a watch. Then he sees that he does not even have wallet. Okay. Then he checks the pocket. He says that, "अरे इसमें तो credit मतलब उधार लिखा हुआ है कि I mean he has credit on him." And then suddenly he realizes that, "Are you my teacher?" "Oh, sir, sorry, sir. Sir, why are you traveling in the night, sir? So please go home, go home." Okay. So that is the advantage of being a teacher. All right. So anyway, so your pocket money does not change your father's income. Okay. There can be example of relationship in which change in one will lead to change in another. Okay. There are many examples of this. Okay. For example, say your father's income and your family's income. Your father's income and your family's income. So if your father's income increases, your family's income will increase. And same way, if the family's income increases, then your father's income will also increase. Got the point? Okay. If the number of people increases in farming, then farming will also increase. Farming product will also increase. I'm just giving crude examples because I'm not writing a textbook here. I'm just trying to make you understand that this is also kind of relationship in which change in Y will depend upon change in X and change in X will depend upon change in Y. Okay. Then there are another kind of relationships in which change in one will not lead to change in another and change in another will not lead to change in another. I mean, they are mutually exclusive events. Okay. For example, change in your father's income and my pocket money has no direct relationship. Okay. And change in my family's income will lead to change in your father's income is not related. Are you getting my point? So there can be, I've discussed three types of relationship in which change in one impacts change in another, but change in another does not necessarily impact one. Matlab, if X changes, Y will change, right? But change in Y will not impact change in X. Okay. There are relationships in which change in Y, change in X will lead to change in Y. Change in Y will lead to change in X. Both are interrelated, directly related, both directly related. Okay. Then there is something in which both are unrelated, completely no relation. X and Y is there. They exist in universe. But somehow change in X will not lead to change in Y. Change in Y will not lead to change in X. Unrelated. Mutually exclusive events इसको कहते हैं maths में. Okay. Now, in this condition, you may hate maths, but maths provides us a beautiful expression for one-sided relationship. Let me there is one-sided relationship in which change in X value of X will impact the value of Y, but you can't determine what will happen to X if Y changes. For example, a very good example, body temperature and thermometer reading. The thermometer reading depends upon your body temperature. If the body temperature changes, the thermometer reading will change. If the body temperature increases, thermometer reading will increase. If the body temperature decreases, thermometer reading. So there is a relationship between body temperature and thermometer. But just because thermometer reading increases, does it mean you will have more fever? I mean, does your body temperature, I mean, अगर हमको आपको बुखार दिलवाना है, if I want to make you more sick, I just go and show you a thermometer with very high degree of temperature. Then suddenly you will start having more fever. Unrelated, one-side relationship. Okay. So when in universe, between two variables, between two things, if relationship is such that change in X will impact change in Y, but you can't determine what will happen to X if Y changes, one-sided relationship. X is impacting Y. X is impacting Y. But X is not getting impacted by Y. Okay? X is impacting Y. So Y's value depend upon X. That is what we call the value of Y will depend upon X. But what will happen to X? You cannot say by the value of Y. Okay? But the value of X will not necessarily depend upon value of Y. Okay. That is what you need to understand. Now, when in this one-sided affair, one-sided relationship, we have a very beautiful mathematical expression. We call it Y is a function of X. Y is a function of X. Now we can use this F only once we have determined that value of Y depends upon value of X, but in only one direction. The other direction you cannot claim anything. Are you getting the point? That value of Y will depend upon change in X. If X changes, value of Y will change. Positive, negative, upar, niche, increase, decrease, another thing. Direct or inverse, that is another thing. It can be direct relationship when X increases, Y increases, X decreases, Y decreases. It can be if X decreases, Y increases, X increases, Y decreases. This can happen. Okay. But Y will impact X, you cannot say according to this, without any more assumptions, without any more, inputs. Okay. Now, this is what happens when we look at two variables. One is price of any commodity. Let us call it X. And the quantity, how much, not demand, the quantity demanded of that commodity X. So price of any commodity X, let us call it PX, of any commodity X, and the quantity demanded of that commodity X, let us call it U dx. Okay. Did you get this point? There are two variables now we are discussing. The price of any commodity X, okay, and quantity demanded of that commodity X for same commodity. We are not talking about price of X and quantity demanded of Y. No. If we are talking about the price of X, we are talking about quantity demanded of X. Let me tell you. Okay. So if the price of commodity X changes, then quantity demanded of that commodity will change, and not vice versa. Not vice versa. One-sided relationship. Okay. And that is why we write that quantity demanded of X is a function of price of X. Quantity, now this is if all other things remain. Actually, the law of demand says that quantity demanded of any commodity X depends upon its price, income, taste, weather, rotation of Earth, amount of daylight, amount of ice in Arctic, the temperature of Antarctic, the temperature of Atlantic, the depth of Pacific Ocean. मतलब quantity demanded of any commodity can depend upon infinite number of things. Okay. But if all other things are as it is at this point of time, then quantity demanded of X will depend only on one factor, and that is price of that commodity. ध्यान से सुनना मेरी बात को. If first thing, quantity demanded, how much of a quantity you demand, it can be anything, any commodity X. Now that is the advantage. Any commodity X. Any commodity X means any commodity. You name a commodity and that will become X. Any commodity. ये बहुत important बात है. Any commodity X. So quantity demanded of any commodity X will depend upon lot of factors. Okay. Infinite number of factors. But if all those factors at this point of time, they remain same, unchanged, then the quantity demanded of any commodity X will depend on only one factor, and that is its price. And further, if the price goes up, then Q dx goes up, and if the price goes down, its Q dx will, goes down. If the price goes up, then Q dx goes down, and if the price goes down, Q dx will go up. Okay? This is the fundamental law of demand. This is the fundamental law of demand. If the price of any commodity X goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. And if the price of that commodity goes down, its quantity demanded will go up. Is this part clear? This functional, this F in this equation forbids you to answer the reverse. What will happen if the quantity demanded goes up? What will happen if quantity demanded goes down? I'm forbidden to answer this question if I have made the law of demand as a functional relationship between price and quantity demanded. If I have used this F, I'm forbidden to answer the question, what will happen to price if quantity demanded changes? So law of demand is not relationship between quantity demanded and price. Law of demanded is a particular relationship between quantity demanded of commodity and its price. And that particular relationship is functional relationship. Not all kind of relationship, not both ways, not erratic, one-sided relationship between quantity demanded and function price, where quantity demanded of a commodity X depends upon its price if all other things remain same in the universe. Okay, that is, if price changes, quantity demanded will change. And it is a relationship, it is an inverse relationship. It is inverse relationship means if price increases, quantity demanded of that commodity will go up. If the price decreases, quantity demanded of that commodity will go, inverse relationship, inverse. Like if quantity price goes up, quantity demanded will come down. If price goes down, quantity demanded will go up. For any commodity X. Is this part clear? Is this point clear? अभी देखेंगे इसका क्या, it sounds so simple, but let us look at the impact of this. Now we will evaluate the impact of this understanding. Is this point clear so far? First thing.
Yes, sir.
Quantity demanded, law of demand says there is relationship between quantity demanded of a commodity and its price. Second thing, not any relationship, a particular kind of relationship in which the quantity demanded of any commodity X is a function of its price. It means if the price changes, quantity demanded changes, but we have no right to claim what will happen to quantity price of the commodity if quantity demand changes. We are not permitted to answer this question according to law of demand. Once we have formulated the relationship between quantity demanded of any commodity X and its price, we have no right to talk about what will happen to price if quantity demand changes. According to law of demand, according to law of demand, according to law of demand, we cannot predict or comment. We are not permitted to comment on what will happen to price if quantity demanded changes. Are you getting my point? Now, let us understand the relevance of this law. I'll ask you some questions. Please answer it as if you are sitting in a regular class, offline class. Okay. First thing, understand. If the price of any commodity X increases, its quantity demanded will fall. So let me give you some examples. Let me give you some examples. If the price of a book increases, what will happen to its quantity demanded? If the price of this book increases, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
It will decrease.
It will
Decrease.
Anybody who has a problem? According to law of demand, if the price of this book increases, goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded? It will go down. Okay, मैसेज में आप डी लिख सकते हो. हम अभी प्राइस अप की बात पूछ रहे हैं. I'm asking you about price going up. Okay, price going up. So price of this book going up, what will happen to quantity demanded? It will go down. Okay. If the price of this phone goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
It will go down.
Okay. If the price of this bottle goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
Decrease.
Okay. If the price of this good night or something goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
Decrease.
D लिख सकते हैं आप.
Decrease.
D. Okay. Okay. I don't have many things. Okay. If the price of this pen goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
Decreases.
Okay. Okay. If the price of this laptop goes up, what will happen to its You might be surprised that why am I wasting your time asking this question, but I'll come to that. Okay. Does any one of you have a 10 rupee note or 500 rupee note? किसी के पास नोट है जेब में अभी? Anybody can? Does anybody have a note? Note मतलब पैसा, रुपया. I am a teacher. I don't have at this point of time. Anybody who can show me a piece of note, rupees 500, 120, 10 rupees? Or you are as poor as I am? जैसा टीचर वैसा स्टूडेंट.
Cashless, sir.
UPI.
नहीं, I want to find anybody who has a note, piece of note. Huh? No? क्या है यार? No cash?
एक मिनट दीजिए सर ढूंढ के.
हाँ, please get me. That's important. तब तक हम पूछते रहते हैं. What will happen to the price of the cap of this bottle if it goes up? What will happen to its quantity demanded? What will happen to the cap of this bottle if its price goes up? What will happen to its quantity demanded?
Got it, sir.
Okay. Now दिखाओ जरा सा वीडियो पे. You can show it. Show it. Now answer this question. Just ऐसे वीडियो पे नहीं दिख रहा, और थोड़ा ऊपर करो. Yes. Okay. So now my question is, okay. Now you can see. Okay. Thank you. I'll just copy it here. Save. Now my question is, अब देखें इसका कितने लोग जवाब दे पाते हैं. Yes. Thank you. Now my question is, if the price of this goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
The price of manufacturing it or the value of
भैया हमारे सामने एक कमोडिटी है 500 रुपए का नोट. इफ द प्राइस ऑफ दिस गोज अप, टेल मी व्हाट विल हैपन टू इट्स क्वांटिटी डिमांडेड.
पर नोट की वैल्यू तो 500 ही रहेगी ना, मतलब
अभी तक टिल नाउ जब तक पैसे की बात नहीं हुई थी, टिल आई हैड टॉक्ड अबाउट मनी, you had understood the law of demand so well, right? I kept on asking and you kept on answering. The moment I inject rupees, money in the system, your mind goes for a toss. This is the power of money. दिमाग खराब कर देता है ये, right? सारे कुछ भुला देता है, सिर्फ इस पे ध्यान आ जाता है. What does the law of demand say? If the price of any commodity X goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. Now, all I have to determine is whether this is a commodity or not. Once I determine that this is a commodity, does it matter whether it is a rupee, is it a gold, is it a diamond, is it a rupees bond, it is rupees picture, it is whatever it is. Tell me.
Yes, sir, it will decrease.
Law of demand it will not change.
So you're talking about inflation, got it.
It is a commodity. It is just another commodity. If the price of steel goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. If the price of aluminium goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. If the price of bottle goes up, its commodity bottle. Bottle मतलब bottle. उसके अंदर का बात नहीं कर रहे हम. मेडिसिन, सलाइन, एंटीबायोटिक, जिसको पीने से तबीयत ठीक होती है ना? दिन में एक बार, रात में एक बार. Anyway, the price of any commodity goes up, its quantity demanded will come down, and this applies to any commodity X. Law of demand में कहीं नहीं लिखा हुआ, it's never nowhere written that it is only for these commodities, not for that commodity. For any commodity X, if the price of this goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. Be it money, be it material, be it service, be it anything. Anything, be it medicine, be it salt, be it food, be it poison. Even जहर का भी मतलब if the price of जहर goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. Okay, are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
And money is
Yes, sir.
today, money today is just a commodity. Commoditization of money. For a very long period of time, money was not a commodity, let me tell you. Money was treated as symbol of sovereignty. Okay?
Until the gold standard we removed.
Yes, अक्षय, but demand के साथ तो वैल्यू बढ़ती है और चीजें महंगी होती हैं. Okay, but according to law of demand, first I'll explain this is the issue. If you are interested, if you are into the class, and we will discuss everything, right? अभी तो बस सिर्फ एक छोटा सा लॉ में there is, एक फोटो दिखाए and I showed you one picture and your concept fush, पूरा confusion हो गया. Right? I'll come back. Any question, that is the advantage. If you are there in the class, if you are attending it, any question, any analysis, I have answer for it. Don't worry. Okay. The price of something. Okay. Another example. If the goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded? अब commodity के जगह, instead of commodity X, I'm just putting names. If the price of money goes up, if the price of credit goes up, if the price of bottle goes up, if the price of loan goes up, if the price of taxi goes up, if the price of rent goes up, you see, you go to Mukherjee Nagar, Delhi, the price of rent determines the quantity demanded of the rented premises. बॉम्बे चले जाइए तो और मुखर्जी नगर में तो यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द रेंट ऑफ अ हाउस. ओके, इन बॉम्बे यू टॉक अबाउट द रेंट ऑफ अ पाइप. बॉम्बे में पाइप में भी लोग रहते हैं. Ronak's question is, what about currency value? My question is, substitute X with anything in law of demand. And the answer is there. That is the beauty of law of demand. That is why I say that most of the analysis will have its root in law of demand and supply. So, Ronak, what will happen to the quantity price of currency if its quantity, what will happen to the quantity demanded of currency if its price goes up? Just put the name in instead of X and you have the answer. And let me tell you, this is very difficult for people to digest that it can be so simple. It is so difficult for people to digest that this can be so simple. This covers everything from the policies of RBI to interest rate to exchange rate, everything. If the price of import goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. If the price of import comes down, what is tariff doing? If you increase the tariff on imported goods, what are you doing? You are increasing the price of that commodity, right? So I'm just asking you, if the price of import goes up, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
It will decrease.
It will decrease. If the price of import goes down, what will happen to its quantity demanded?
Increase.
And how you do it is another matter. That is the fiscal policy matter or monetary policy matter. You increase tax, you increase, tariff, whatever you name, you call it. But the logic remains that if the price of something goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. If the price of gold goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. If he is increasing the tariff of import at his place, he is increasing the price of commodity coming to his place. So quantity demanded by Americans of Indian commodity will go down. Simple. सोचिए उस लेवल पे इतना सिंपल लॉ ऑपरेट कर रहा है. He's simply applying law of demand, nothing else. We are fighting against law of demand. We are fighting against the validity of law of demand. We are fighting against the power of law of demand. It is so powerful. It is so powerful. One stroke of 25% tariff and you are fighting against the law of demand. सोचते हो कितना simple. मतलब whatever Trump is doing is succeeding because law of demand holds. That is power of law of demand. You give me any situation, any macroeconomic situation, and I'll trace it to law of demand and supply. कितना भी complicated situation लेके आओ आप, macroeconomic. At the root, you will find law of demand and supply. अभी लॉ ऑफ डिमांड की बात कर रहे हैं. So first, make yourself trust this, that law of demand operates, holds true between any two variables which have a relationship, and that is the two variables are quantity demanded of any commodity X, and by God's grace, that is the power of maths. The moment you say X, it includes everything. If the price of love goes up, your quantity demanded of that love will come down. Huh? There are no exceptions to law of demand. Again, I am making a very counter academic statement, because you have studied exceptions to law of demand. Those of you are economic students, you have studied exceptions to law of demand. Now there are no exceptions to law of demand. There are no exceptions to law of demand. Understand it from a non-economic student. Let me tell you. The exception exists only between certain limit. कुछ किसी पे भी नहीं, Mr. Kunal. No, there are no exceptions to law of demand. There's no exceptions to law of demand. If the price goes up beyond a certain point, even Bill Gates will start thinking about whether to buy it or not. If the price of a company which he is bidding, if the price of OpenAI that Mr. Tesla is bidding, $97 billion, if it goes up, its quantity demanded will come down. Let me tell you. Yes, सब within a range. That to some extent, within this much range, if the price goes up, its quantity demanded will go up. But keep it going up, keep it going up, keep it going up. For any good, there will come a time when law of demand starts operating and its quantity demanded will come down. You give example of diamond. If its price goes up, people buy more. Those people who demand diamond, they will demand more because its price is the thing. But take it to a level higher than their capability, and suddenly, because the price is impacting the capability. So look, why there is no exception? Because the movement of price is impacting your capability. To some extent, your capability is not impacted. If your capability is this much, and if the movement of price is this much, then you feel that it is not impacting. Okay? But if the price start going up like this, and your capability remains like this, then after this point, its law of demand will hold. I'll discuss this is why I want you people to attend this class, because here we are discussing not textbook. We are discussing beyond textbooks. Things that will empower you. Jahan baat karo, if you will talk about these things, people will realize that this guy has some critical thinking. And demand, that what is the definition of demand, Akshay? Can you remove capability from demand? Demand must fulfill two parameters. One is it must satisfy human needs. It must be within your desire list. It must be in your desire list. Okay. And second, you must have capability for that. The moment it surpasses your capability, it ceases to remain your demand. So law of demand holds. Range sometimes in some commodities. You might see exception in range, within range. For example, if the price of medicine goes up, you can claim that, sir, I'll not start purchasing less of medicine. You can say that. Sir, extreme need. If the price of medicine goes up, sir, I'll not purchase less of medicine. You can say that, right? Right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But watch any Amitabh Bachchan movie of 1970s. You'll find that in most cases, he became criminal because he could not purchase the medicine for his mother or father or brother. you know, कल्लू से कालिया बनने की कहानी, how Kallu became Kalia, because he could not get 500 rupees from his boss. So he could not purchase medicine. The quantity demanded goes down, people die. You start purchasing less. You know? What happens to the quantity demanded of insurance if price goes up? What happens to the I mean, like anything. Now, am I clear about law of demand?
So just one question in here.
Yeah. Feel free to ask. And demand increases, the stock price increases, euphoria, it is exception of law of demand. Okay, don't worry, I'll answer all questions. Demand कैसे increase अभी दिखा देते हैं आपको.
So given goods are.
Keep this question for the next class.
So my question is about.
One guarantee at all of you, and that is why I want all of you to attend classes regularly. You will become very different in analysis. I'll answer all your questions, and I'll answer on the basis of the logic of law of demand and supply. Not some मैं वो कोई क्या कहते हैं metaphysical answer या आध्यात्मिक answer वो सब नहीं दूंगा. वो logical answer on the basis of Q dx is a function of price. I'll answer, all my answer will be based on this. Parijat, keep this question. I'll explain the concept of stock market, and I'll tell you how law of demand operates in stock market. Yes.
Yes. So my question is, we have an exception of given goods. So the goods, the price of the goods which are too low. So the human behavior is that if some goods are, the price of some good is too low, so it is cheap. So that's why we don't purchase those goods. So does this equation answer that question?
Okay. Keep this question, because now we are reaching the end of this. So I want all of you to, I'll explain. Keep your questions, or you do one thing. You make a list of your questions, okay, and WhatsApp it to me, so that at least I'll know how many of you are actually getting interested, and that will give me a very good. Chunki offline mein to I can ask, what is your question, or what is your question. Now online, unfortunately, it's like there is limitation. All of you who are attending this class on Zoom as well as on YouTube, please make a list of your question and send it to me on WhatsApp. Okay, please send it to me on WhatsApp. I will explain each and every question. Okay, what I'm saying is, now is my voice clear?
Yes, sir, it is fine.
So what I want from you is, make a list of questions that is coming to your mind. Make a list of that question and send it to me on WhatsApp, so that I mean, वो मैंने Power of Knowledge वाला एक group बनाया हुआ, उसमें भी भेज सकते हो. Power of Knowledge and Reading group. Please send those questions there, and I will answer all the questions on the merit of logic of law of demand and supply. I will not evade any question, and I'll explain each and every question, and I'll convince you on the merit of logic of law of demand and supply. Okay, so let me stop here today. I have another session of book reading at, I think, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is book reading session. Have you been informed?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So don't miss that class. I'll try to read something very interesting. Okay, and okay, Pranjal, I'll send you the snapshot of any editorial page, so that you can figure out what is editorial. So let us meet in the book reading session at 2 o'clock. Don't miss that. And give me those questions which are coming to your mind, because that is what will clarify your thing. Okay, because unless I clarify your questions, I mean, it will not be fruitful. And I guarantee I'll clarify all your questions. And you will see the beauty of analysis. Okay. Chalo, so let us meet at 2 o'clock for a book reading session. Don't miss that. That will be an interesting, good session. Please attend those sessions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Chalo, I hope
Thank you,
it
sir.
was worth it. I
Sir.
hope it was worth it.
Absolutely, sir.
मुझे बहुत डर
Yes, sir.
लगता है
Absolutely, sir.
मुझे पता नहीं चलता I don't figure out whether you are liking it you are enjoying it whether you are and मतलब really I am making a difference or not offline में तो I could see the sparkle in the eyes अरे such kind of thing right I could see your confusion going away like अरे money के लिए भी law of demand how can money is this money का कैसे हो सकता है money का तो money अपने आप में its price yes all these things keep coming and then suddenly I say it's law of demand it's commodity X and you say oh, अच्छा, okay so anyway चलो let us meet again
Thank you.
Sir, just one question.
no Akshay there was no session of this there was a session on human need and evolution of economics you can take it from Sanjita ma'am but in this class I've discussed only law of demand and how it applies to this so in the next class I'll discuss law of supply and then I'll mix law of demand and supply and create the most beautiful graph of the economic analysis the heart of economic analysis it looks like heart so that is very interesting so don't miss the next class also yes what is the question
Sir, I usually read the business section of Times of India, but अगर एक proper business paper अगर पढ़ना है तो कौन सा आप prefer करेंगे?
Economic Times, yeah, for starting, Business Standard is a very good newspaper for students
Okay, sir.
to start with.
Okay,
Business
sir.
Standard is a very good newspaper to start with because it is more like, yeah, less commercial लगता है and it is very interesting, very good. मतलब academically it is very good.
Okay, sir. मैं सर initially Mint पढ़ता था, but अब उसको paywall में डाल दिया उन्होंने.
हाँ अब बिजनेस स्टार्ट हाँ ईटी इज वेरी गुड आई लव ईटी तो मतलब बट इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग हाँ इफ यू हैव स्टार्टेड विद टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया गुड स्टार्ट विद टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया बट ग्रेजुअली मूव टू द बिजनेस न्यूज़पेपर हम करा देंगे आपको बिजनेस न्यूज़पेपर पढ़े बिना मजा नहीं आएगा डोंट वरी आई मीन यू विल नॉट enjoy the day without reading business newspaper that is my commitment you just stay there because you want to explore so much you are basically explorers but you are not being given the right ship and the right ocean to explore yeah business standard you start with business standard you start with economic times anything just start chalo bye take care we'll meet again
Bye, sir.